And actually, obviously, we spent a lot of the last episode talking about your plans to try and get to Belfast. You weren't far short in the end. You were winning. And was it a respotted black that cost you?
Well, I was 2-1 ahead, Mark, and I should have been 3-1 ahead. I had chances to go 3-1, and then 3-1. You only need one more frame, a good chance of winning. Threw that away. The respotted black, the cue ball went in off, and then lost the last 2 frames, so didn't make it to Northern Ireland. But I mean, it's like, why did anyone else bother to go to Northern Ireland? I mean, Judd Trump's just winning everything.
Well, yeah, it feels like this is a Judd Trump podcast these days. Basically, every time we do another episode, he's just won another trophy. It's. I mean, this is an unbelievable streak now for him. He just seems to be invincible at the moment. Not many people have won 3 back-to-back. I don't think 3 ranking tournaments.
Yeah, there was a World Snooker Post. I think himself, he joined myself, Steve Davis, Ray Reardon, and Ding Junhui as the only players in history that have done 3 ranking tournaments in a row. I may have done 4. People will write in and correct us, please. I'm sure they'll take great delight in proving me wrong if I am. I think I won the first 4 tournaments one season.
Fair play. So Trump is approaching that sort of level of unstoppability, and it's just, well, he seems to be doing it with ease as well. The final was fairly one-sided against Chris Wakelin, who obviously something of a shock finalist.
Yeah, Jack Lazowski beat Jack Lazowski 6-1 in the semi-final, so obviously he was playing really well. But I think he's played Judd before the final 11 times and not beaten him, so he's the last person that he wanted to meet in the final. Is someone that's 11 out of 11. That's the last thing you want. So yeah, that was not going to bode well for Chris. But Judd's just on a crest of a wave. He's full of confidence, and he's got the most important aspect, I think, and certainly in any sportsman, but an individual one, is greed. Greedy. You got to be greedy for more tournaments and win it. And he's like, he's winning one on a Sunday night, and on a Monday morning he's waking up and saying, okay, where's next? What's next to win?
Yeah, I'm just glancing down at my notes, and it turns out you actually did win 5 in a row on one occasion, and you're the only person.
I'm pretending I didn't know that. I try to say 4 to try and sound humble. It's very difficult for me, but
yeah, humility. Yeah, in 1990 you put a streak of 5 together, but as you say, Trump joins only 4 of the players that have done 3 in a row. It was an interesting competition, wasn't it? We've talked a lot about Mark Allen, but he was knocked out by Petrov, the Estonian. There were some surprises like that early on, and then and the surprises kept on all the way to the final in a way. Wakelin had a hell of a run.
Yeah, it's obviously best of 7s can provide shock results because it's quite a quick match. But by the time you get to the quarterfinals, becomes best of 9. Then you kind of like you don't expect so many shock results. But I think it's the way the game's going now. You're starting to see more players reaching the finals that you don't really expect. For whatever reason, I don't really know how to explain. I mean, there's a lot of top players not playing well. You have to say that. I mean, Robertson. I don't know what's happened to Robertson at the moment. Mark Allen, as you say, he lost early. Ronnie didn't play. Sean Murphy, Mark Williams, John Higgins, all these guys. John Higgins wasn't in it. There was a few not in it, obviously. For we know what reason. But yeah, so. It's obviously players not going there allowed for more shot results, but yeah, a lot of the top players are not performing.
It's interesting, isn't it? And meanwhile, Trump is just taking full advantage of this. You've talked about the greed. He seems to have that hunger. He's playing absolute magic snooker. How good do you think he could get in terms of the history of the game?
Well, I mean, you're flying. Obviously, I mean, we said another thing last week. I mean, the crowds were fantastic. I think they were a huge way up on last year. So that sort of inspires players like Judd Trump as well. You like to play in sort of full arenas, and the Waterfront is somewhere where I've played 2 or 3 exhibitions in, and it's a fantastic atmosphere. So that sort of inspires Judd. I think when you get in the habit of winning and you get in the habit of losing. And at the moment, Judd is in the habit of winning, and the game is just easy to him, and it's a great place to be.
It must be a lovely feeling. It must be a feeling that you remember vaguely.
Well, yeah. It seems like a different lifetime ago, but yeah, it was lovely.
As you say, ticket sales were up 22% on last year and 40% up the broadcast figures. So, I mean, it's interesting. We had a fair old chat with Eddie about making it attractive to a different audience and all the rest of it. But the actual attendance, if you get the venue right, snooker's still in a pretty good place ticket wise.
That's yeah. You hit the nail on the head there. They'll get the venue right, because I think, I work for a lot of the ITV events, do 4 or 5 events, and they're changing venues almost by year by year. Tournaments need to get an identity. They need to find a venue and get it, and then people know where and when it is. So
Yeah.
Northern Ireland's got that now, the Waterfront Arena in Belfast. So people know where it's going to be, when it's going to be, and it's so important to as getting an identity for a tournament.
Yeah, I saw people saying that the Republic of Ireland should have a major tournament.
Well, yeah, absolutely,
which it has had before, I think.
Well, it's had obviously the Masters, the Benson Hedges Masters, were at Goffs. Which is a phenomenal venue. It wouldn't be able to hold a ranking tournament because there's only room for one table. But certainly, Republic of Ireland would be another great place to start. Because there's so many players from there.